My project this year will consist of email phishing scheme for those who don't know. Going to walk through some setup on setting up a virtual server and how to collect evidence from the virtual server and how to get those credentials. Also, how to set up a basic web page to mimic a Google login. Just first and foremost, I just want to give a brief disclaimer. This is strictly for educational purposes. I don't condone anyone using these tools for anything malicious or with ill intent. Again, this is for education purposes, for learning, for helping people gain experience within the world of technology, cybersecurity, getting your hands active and engaging in things that you might enjoy. So remember, education, education, education. Uh, it's a great tool, and I'm going to walk you through a couple of things. Thank you. And do some configuration. Also talk about some mitigation strategies that you could see that will help you a lot. And even though I'm going to touch on one of the mitigation strategies, I can show you how the training your staff and employees. So really quick, I want to go over some key terms and some definitions that you'll hear me use throughout the recording when it comes to email and cloud servers and things along those lines for those who don't know. So DKIM, domain keys, identified mail. There's the SPF. So that's the sender policy framework. Then there's the DMARC, domain-based message authentication, reporting, and confirmation. Then there's a reverse DNS, which is a PTI record. Then we got MTP, which I'm pretty sure we're all familiar with the simple mail transfer protocol, HTTP, hypertext transfer protocol. And really, all of these things work together to verify that you say that who you are, and it really helps to combat phishing schemes. And this is how the internet talks to each other. So you make your keys public, then people verify that information and they're able to trust you that way. You don't have to go with what I chose. I did quite a bit of research and found that Linode was one of the better ones if you wanted to have a little more under the radar security. Also, a reason for choosing it is because they had $100 credit, so it didn't cost me anything, which was also great. And that's going to be step one. We're going to be setting that up. Then step two, we'll get into configuring your DNS. There's plenty that you can go with that's out there. I also went with the one I went with because of the same thing, trying to stay under the radar, trying to be more secure, and really trying to act as though this would be a person actually doing a real phishing scheme. Then step three, we'll be installing and configure the Apache and the Apache and PHP for your website. Then step four will be installing and configuring and postfix and the open DKIM, like I was saying before. Step five would be configuring reverse DNS so that when you're getting verified by users, they're going to say, oh, this person's real. Then step six, we're going to be testing mail configuration. Step seven will be creating the actual phishing website. Very basic, very simple. Set it up Gmail style, looks very generic. Step eight will be final checks and troubleshooting. And then step nine, we'll have a conclusion as far as mitigation tactics and how can you more further yourself in this process. So let's get started. So I'm going to start with sharing my screen here. Let's share. This is what we want. So really, we're at the Linode site. So we are going to, you can sign up. Since I've already signed up, I will just hit log in and it should bring me to where I have logged in at. And then what you're going to want to do is create a Linode right here. So once you click create the Linode, you're going to get to this screen right here. This is the screen you want. And one cool thing that I did like about this is that it gives you constant emails to whenever someone does log in, even if yourself, and you log into it, it will notify you. What you're going to do from here is, as I did mention, sorry about that, when you do sign up to get the $100 credit, you just quick Google search Linode $100 credit, and you just sign up that way. It'll walk you through the steps. You do have to put a card on file and information, but fairly quick for you to do this task if you ever wanted to play around with this. Create a new Ubuntu 22 22.04 LTS. Your region, you can choose whatever region you want. Obviously, I just chose Chicago. As you do see, there is a 224.04. The reason why you don't want to use this, you can, but it's not as stable as 22.04. So it's recommended that you're going to use this one right here, the 22.04. Now, when we set this up, we're also going to set a strong password. So let's click that one. And you're going to see all these different options of the CPU, the shared CPU, high memory, GPU, and then there's the premium. It does give you the prices, gives you a pretty good breakdown. The cheapest option, after I ran them and looked through them all, is the Nano 1 GB monthly, $5. Hourly, I don't, it's not even so minute, you're not even going to see it. So lets you play with it for quite a while. So this is where you want to actually change your name to something cool that you can label it so you'll recognize, oh, that's what that is, just in case you have multiple servers running at the same time. So we can name it fish. No, can't spell today. Phishing tag. You can add tags. I don't really have any tags, but this is the password you are going to remember. This password is very important. So you need to really remember this password because this is how we're going to SSH into the machine. And as you can see, it gives you your strength. So if you were typing, it would say good. So let's come up with a really good password. I want to verify it with you guys. So 1 second. There we go. Verified the password. Like you can add firewall if you wanted to. You can add virtual LAN if you wanted to. You can do a private IP. But those are pretty much the simplest steps on what to do and how to get started. So we're just going to create the node right here. Not now. And gave me all the information. So there's my public IP address, there's the SSH access, there's the machine access, there's all this information. It's spinning up right now. If you look right here, you can see that it's spinning up. If you do a drop down, oh, there we go. Okay. Someone's logged in. It's taking a little bit to provision. What we got? A couple more seconds. I'll pause it. So pick up right there. As you can see, when we're up and running, got the big green running sign that we're good. Gives you the option to power off, reboot, all those good things. Now let's remote in. And so obviously to remote in, you're gonna use your terminal. But remember when I said that you needed to remember that password? And if you go back to the Linode site, it gives you the SSH access where you can literally just copy and paste. So you're gonna copy. Then because I'm on a Mac, it's gonna ask me all these questions. And now it's going to ask me for the password. This password is the password that you set on the screen when we created the node. Boom. Now we're in. As you can see, we're up and running. We're good to go there. And now we're going to do some getting your domain, doing some DNS configuration. I used Pork Bun, like I had said before. Just thought it was a easier tool, was more secure, and was actually cheaper. This is actually something I did pay for, unfortunately. It was only $8, but I got two different ones, so that's the plus. So once you log in, you're gonna do domain management, and you are going to see, oh, I have one suspended. I recommend you don't use one that's like this, that's close to Gmail, but we're gonna do it anyway. School project. It's not that big of a deal. We're not actually using it to attack. So what we're going to want to do first is we're going to click right here where it says DNS, and we're going to get this drop down. First thing you're going to do, we're going to delete these because we don't care for Pork Bun. So we're going to delete these. Once those are deleted, now this is where we're going to type our own information in. Now the first one we're going to create is the address record. So for host, we're going to do that. And then for our answer, we are going to give it the IP address. It's time to live. 600, that's fine. Priority, we can leave it. It's 72. Then we're going to add it. And as you can see, it's going to go down to the bottom right here. Now, our next one we're going to do is an MX record. So mail exchange. So for our hosts, we're going to do at. And then for our answer value, we're going to copy it and do Gmail. Well, whatever you chose to do. So as you can see, mine is GMAI one as in place for L.IT.com. And we want the dot at the end. Now the priority is going to be 10, and then we're going to add that record. Like I said before, you can see the records at the bottom. Now we're going to scroll up. The next one was going to be an SPF record. So this gets all put in as text. So type, it's going to be a text. Host, we're going to do add again. Now the answer value is going to be this, but you're going to use, instead of this IP, you are going to use your own IP. So don't copy my IP, use your own IP. Otherwise, it's not going to work for you. And then priority, as you can see, it's blanked out, so that's fine. So we're good there. We're just going to add it. And then we're going to do another, we're going to do the DMARC record. So this is going to be another text record. The host is going to be underscore DMARC. Now the value and the answer is going to be, so this is just reports. So when people report you for phishing or anything like that, that's is where this values come. So you can set, I have it set up to where I'll get emails and notifications when they do that. So I know that it's reporting. So I know it's a report. So I got an email today from Pork Bun saying, hey, your email address is reported as phishing. Here's the report. And it came as the report. So then nothing to do there. We're going to add that record. Then next one, we're going to do the DKIM text. So it's going to be default dot domain key. Actually, I take that back. The DKIM record we can't do just yet because we haven't generated the keys. So we'll hold off on adding that one. Now we need to go back to our system and we're going to run a couple commands. I have them copied and paste. I have them over here so I can just copy them and paste. This is updating the system. So you're going to see this. So I'll let the update go. During the update, you're going to see this if you want to keep this. So you always do keep the local version currently installed. And I'll let the update continue. Be back shortly. You'll also see this screen right here, new kernel available, the kernel restarting. So look, I have restarted all of the services after doing an update. Just makes everything run a lot smoother. Spacebar gets you there, and then still doing some updates. Now we're back into it. So now we're going to install Apache and PHP. Install right here. Let that go through. So what we're going to do next, we are going to enable it. All right, there we go. We enabled it first before we can start it. So now we're going to run the same command, but it's just going to be with start. So this is going to let you start the Apache on the machine. So now we're going to create a test PHP install. So really, we're just going to do copy this. This is just a test page. All right. Now we're going to visit in our browser the test page itself. So once you visit the test page, this is what it should show. Your environment, all of that, just basic website information. And we'll go further from here. Now we are going to go back to our terminal where we're going to do a lot of the work. So now we're going to do the configuration for the postfix and the DKIM. So generating those keys. And so we can get everything up and working and people trust us. So we're going to run this command. You always want to do internet site. We're going to click. Now we want to see how it says localhost. We want to delete it and don't use localhost. You want to use whatever you chose as your domain. So whatever you went with, that's what you want to do. Tab key is your friend in the terminal. Obviously, you know that. And we're going to let it run. Be back. So if that didn't work and you don't see with the postfix and how to get it, you can reinstall it with this command. But since it worked for me, I'm not going to do that. And then now we're going to edit the postfix file. So I'm going to go here. So now we're going to edit it. So now this is what we're going to see. So we're going to see all of this. A lot of information in here. But we're just making sure that certain lines are present. So we're going to look for my host name. So let's see what my host name says. You see how it says local host members, blah, blah. No, you do not want that. You want your local host name that you created. And then my origin, you're going to look for that. It should be pretty close. Yep, that's correct right here. You wanted to say etc mail name. Then you're going to look up to the SMTPD banner, which I believe is at the very top. Let's go up here and it should say my host name, and then you don't want this. You want it to say postfix. Now we're going to look for my destination, which is also my destination's in here too, right here, my destination. See how it's already there. And then you want the local host, and then it puts localhost twice, but as you can see, localhost here, but you only need it once. So then once we're out of there, we're going to Control Z, we're going to save it to the buffer. Yes. So now we are going to set the contents of the mail name also to our domain that we're looking for that we got. So it's this line right here, but you can see I'm going to change it. So that's just sending that, hey, we want that into that, and we put it there. So now let's restart the postfix. So it's restarted. Now we're going to do the DKIM. So let's copy that. Let's place that in here. It's going to do some installing. And we're going to create a directory for those keys. So I just made it simple and went with directory that you could find. If you do the towards the end here, you do whatever you chose yours to be, makes it a lot easier. And then now we are going to go to that directory. So CD, go to it. So now we're there. We're in that present directory. Now we are going to generate keys. So I created 2 files, which we need. And then now we're going to configure it. So we're going to open it. See a lot of stuff in here we're going to go through. So we're going to have to check our domain. And the domain's right here, how it says. We need to uncomment this out. And you want this to be whatever you chose it to be. So you just needed to say whatever you went with. So mine's is com. And then now you also want to go to your selector. Where was that? Yep. So selector right underneath it. You want to change it to default, but also remember to uncomment it. So it actually is working. So now there is another section, key file. Let's go find the key file. Oh, it's right there. Comment that out. And so what you wanted to say instead, you want to add open here, backslash here. So that should say keys. And then this is where you're going to, you can add default here, backslash, and this is where you want it to be. And that's how it should look. And can't say this word, but it's a big C word, canalization. Right there should be relaxed and simple. Then your socket should be, we have to change our socket. Oh no, we can leave our socket. The socket's fine. And then the PID file, I think it's fine also. Then the user ID, I believe it's up at top. And then you want to leave the UMask at 007. So let's save it to the buffer. Now we're going to create some more things and sign. So there should be all the text that's in the file. The biggest thing is that make sure you are really getting your domain to match, because that ruins everything. When we're always just saving to the buffer, now we're going to do our trusted hosts. And then with this, you're going to add again your domain, and then you're going to enter your IP address. So I have to go grab that 1 second, save it to the buffer like always. Now we're going to have to adjust our permissions. All right, you're going to go back into the postfix file, and you're going to add this at the bottom, save it to the buffer. And now we are going to restart our services, because what I've learned is that typically once you do all this, you're always going to restart. So now that those are restarted, we should be able to grab those keys. There's the key right there, but I'm going to stop it. So when you generate those keys, you're going to want everything from P over. You're going to want all of that information, and then you're going to add it. And that was it. On to the next step. So now what you're going to do is you're going to log back into your node here, and you're going to go to network, and you are going to go to network, edit reverse DNS. So you're going to get rid of all of this, and you are going to add your main again and save it. So now that's saved. Now we are going to verify some information. We are going to go back to our terminal, and now we're going to see if we're working. So we're going to run localhost 25. That's what we want to get out of telnet. It's a little tricky. So it is Control T bar. and then you have to type in quit. So now we're out. Now we're going to use SWAKS, SWAKS, depending on how you say it, to test an email. So we're going to install it. Now this is where you can test an email. So you actually have to send it to an actual email address. So I'm going to send it to my email address, see what I get, but you can leave it at test. And this is where you want it to say your actual email address right here where it says your email. Once you send it, you'll see a screen like this saying, hey, it's sent. And I'm going to see if it's sent. So once it sends, it'll look something like this. This is an older one. Having trouble with the current one, but it'll look just something like that because I didn't really write anything to send. So now we're gonna go back our terminal, create the phishing site. So I'm gonna change some directories. This is gonna be where we were just at with when we installed in the very beginning, the Apache. Very straightforward, nothing too of the ordinary. There we go. Now we're gonna create a login page. The cool thing is all this is gonna talk back to us because we have everything pointing to the correct. So we're gonna do some verification. Remember, we always want to save to the buffer. This is the PHP. Now we're gonna go back here. And now we're going to make sure everything is working because we're going to touch the log files to make sure that when we receive them, they'll actually work. Now let's test it. As you can see, here's the fake page. It does have the not secure, but it does say gmail1.it.com. Let's give it a whirl. So if you go to sam.sam@gmail.com, let's do hello, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It even prompts you to save the password. Let's enter. Got a fake verification page. Oh, they sent me a verification. Oh, it's verify. Then it does get you there. So now you have their credentials. So, and let me show you. So to see their credentials, you're going to go back to the terminal and you're going to open the log file. There's the email, there's the password, there's the IP address they were at, there's a 2FA code that they entered also. And that's it. So even when people say that 2FA is one of the biggest security things, I beg to differ. As you can see, we just had someone enter a fake one that potentially could have been their real one. So really just being careful in education is key. If you are going to do this, I recommend that you don't do one that's related to Gmail because having some issues with that. So try to do one a little more clever. This is obviously for school, so not too worried about it. Remember, this is all for educational purpose. Huge disclaimer, and thank you. Last thing I wanted to share is that there is a website called mxctoolbox.com. If you are having issues or finding why isn't it working, this website's great to show you, hey, this is an issue. You see how it found our DMARC, it found our policy, and it found our DNS record. So we're a trusted email address. But I'll show you one that I did previously where it has issues. See, no DMARC, no DNS, and you do. It just shows you everything. And then if you click find problems, list all these problems. So blacklist it, and this is what you want to avoid. Again, name's Jesse Washington. Make sure this is all educational purposes. I don't condone anyone using this for any malicious activity. Thank you. Just first and foremost, I just want to give a brief disclaimer. This is strictly for educational purposes. I don't condone anyone using these tools for anything malicious or with ill intent. Again, this is for education purposes, for learning, for helping people gain experience within the world of technology, cybersecurity, getting your hands active and engaging in things that you might enjoy. So remember, education, education, education. Uh, it's a great tool, and I'm going to walk you through a couple of things. Thank you.